Good morning, everyone. My name is Tero Virtala. I'm the CEO of Remedy. With me is our Chief Financial Officer, Mrs. Terhi Kauppi.
Good morning.
In this presentation, we will go through our financial year 2019. We will look at the financial results of the year and then summarize how the year was and discuss on the outlook for 2020. When we look at the highlights of last year, 2019 overall was a good year for us. Our revenue was 31.6 million euros, which is 57% growth when we compare to year 2018. Our operating profit was 6.5 million euros, which was a major over 900% increase to 2018, and overall our operating profit was 21% of our revenue. With this and our strong cash position, Board of Directors proposes a dividend of 0.11 euros per share. And while 2019 was financially a good year, it was also a very important milestone in our longer-term growth plans. So almost 3 years ago, in early 2017, we set a growth strategy. And since that, in 2017, 2018, parts of 2019, we have systematically transformed ourselves into a multi-project organization. We have been building and initiating new game teams, new game projects. We have developed a number of new competencies and taken our ways of working further. Now, in 2019, we finalized and launched Control, which is the first one of the 4 games we have been developing as part of this longer-term growth plan. And our plan, as we have been saying all the time in 2017 and 18, has been to be able to show the first results of this growth strategy in 2019. And now we can say that that first phase has been successfully done. We have gotten into the growth track we aim for. So, to another highlights, when we look at our games, Control launched in August for PlayStation, Xbox and PC. The reception from critics was really good, and so far Control has already won over 20 Game of the Year awards and a number of other awards as well. With Crossfire, we have continued in 2019 to develop the second project in relation to Crossfire, and also in 2019 it was announced that Crossfire is first time coming to consoles. Crossfire X to Xbox One in 2020, and it was also announced that Remedy's single-player campaign will be part of Crossfire X. Our third unannounced project and Vanguard have proceeded steadily, and designs, prototypes and plans are now on a level that we are proceeding to pre-production phase with these projects. So, with all of that, when we look at Remedy now, we have launched Control and continue to develop it further. We have Crossfire X, the single-player campaign, in development. We have the unannounced third projects and then the project Vanguard in development. So when we look at our games in a bit more detail, Control, as a summary, is a game created and owned by us. It was released by our publishing partner 505 Games on 27th of August for PlayStation 4, Xbox One and PC. And business-wise, our revenues on Control are based on the development fees from our publishing partner and revenue share on Control's net revenues. When Control launched, it got a really good reception from gaming critics with an average Metascore of 84 out of 100. Control has so far also received over 60 gaming media awards, including many Game of the Year awards from the world's leading gaming media. It's also really good to highlight that we were able to create this Game of the Year quality game in 3 years with development budget less than 30 million euros. These are remarkable achievements in itself in the gaming industry, and they definitely show the strength of our team and technology, and also that we have developed a lot as a company. We have continued to develop Control with post-launch content, including the free photo mode and expedition updates that were released in October and December 2019. At the moment, we still have a team working on 2 paid downloadable content packs, or so-called DLCs, to be released in 2020. Then when we look at the sales, the early phase sales started to proceed gradually. And when we compare to many big budget games that were also released in 2019, Control hasn't had as large marketing budget, which may have impacted the early launch period game sales. But therefore, there are still a lot of potential gamers who have yet to discover Control, and we are clearly now gradually reaching them. And therefore also the longer term sales have remained on a nice level, with also relatively high average sales price, and we and 505 Games are continuing the marketing and sales activities. With Crossfire is one of the world's most popular online first-person shooters. Huge amount of registered players all over the world. The game has been created and is owned by our partner Smilegate. We are focused on creating single-player experiences for the Crossfire, and business-wise our revenues are based on the development payments from Smilegate, and then once the game launch, potential royalties that might come after the launch. We already did the first project, Operation Frost, for Smilegate, and started a second project in late 2018, and in 2019 we have continued working on this second Crossfire project. Smilegate announced at E3 2019, so summer 2019, that they are partnering with Microsoft, and Crossfire X will be the first Crossfire title ever to be released on a console platform. Later that year, it was also said that the game will include Remedy's single-player campaign when it launches on Xbox One in 2020. Okay, and then in relation to the unannounced third project and Vanguard. So the unannounced third project is proceeding well and currently has a team of 20 people working on it. Vanguard, the fourth project, is as well proceeding well and currently has a team of 15 people. It's good to remind that Vanguard is a very new type of project for us, and the objective of Vanguard is to combine the Remedy strengths of world building, characters and stories into multiplayer gaming in order to create something unique, long-lasting, service-based multiplayer experience. And both projects, as said, they have been proceeding well, and according to our plans, they are currently now proceeding into pre-production. In addition to the game projects, we have systematically continued to develop and utilize our proprietary NORTHLIGHT technology further. So in order to create our type of unique games with the world building, storytelling and action gameplay that we have, and to do that according to our own development processes, NORTHLIGHT is optimized exactly for that. And out of the 4 projects that we currently have, 3 of them are based on NORTHLIGHT, because for those games, for Control, for Crossfire, for our unannounced third projects, NORTHLIGHT is the best and most powerful solution. But in order to highlight, it's important to note that NORTHLIGHT is not a generic game engine. On high level, NORTHLIGHT consists of 4 key areas. The first one is the adaptable game engine. That's the core that ties everything in our technology and ways of working together. And this also then includes the world-leading graphics engine, which is, for example, the powering source that has now enabled the real-time ray tracing implementation that we have in Control and the unique high-quality look that we have in the game. In addition, there are specialized technology modules that are specifically developed and tailored for the needs of every single game. These have, for example, enabled back in the days the bullet time for Max Payne, the fight with light in Alan Wake, the time manipulation in Quantum Break, or the extensive use of physics in Control. Another highly important key part of Northlight are the tools. The tools we use to create the different game worlds, the content, the storytelling elements, the gameplays. So the tools are what most of our people are using every day in their work, and Northlight is developing those further systematically. The third part are the data pipelines and data management, the technical optimized processes required for the technology tools and development work to function well as the workflows on how people use Northlight and work with it. An example of that are the digital double character and animation systems, which are not just technology but much wider processes and integrated systems. And then, of course, a key part of Northlight is the expert team that we have. The people, the 40 experts that develop and maintain the Northlight further. But it's also highly important to notice that it's not just about developing new things. At times, these people jump into the game projects and give major development support to optimize the games that our game development teams are doing and to make sure that we can get most out of the games we are developing. Okay, and with all of this, when we look at the key benefits of Northlight, we see that there are many of those that we get. First of all, Northlight is not a generic technology and tool set that could be used for creating any type of games. It's technology, tools, pipelines that are tailored to the exact needs of Remedy games. It does have an industry-leading graphics engine that enables us visually to do things that really differentiate our games in that aspect. And then there are focused developments that Northlight enables that provides more value for gamers and really innovative gameplay. Bullet time in Max Payne, fight with light in Alan Wake, time manipulation in Quantum Break, or the use of physics in Control. Another perspective that we definitely see is highly valuable is that with the help of Northlight and the team, we are able to create world-class teams with fairly small gameplay programmer teams. As an example, Control, which at its peak had more than 100 people working on Control, it only had an average gameplay programmer team of 6 people. And that is really unheard in the gaming industry. But that's enabled by us having 40 experts and Northlight, and the game teams get strong specialized support from these experts for shorter periods of time when the game teams need them. And then, of course, Northlight is also an additional way for us to attract world-class programmers that will join and have joined Remedy. And then when we look at our personnel, in 2019, our headcount increased 24%, being 248 full-time employees end of the year. And we definitely are an international crew of 27 different nationalities, 50% currently from Finland and 50% from abroad. And we are happy to say that we clearly are a lucrative employer. Last year, for example, we received over 2,700 relevant job applications, which led us to hire 52 permanent new employees. Talented, motivated people in well-working teams are the most important factor in creating a sustainable success for us. And therefore, we do put and continue to put a lot of emphasis on developing and supporting our people, and it definitely pays off. Our employee engagement keeps on being high, as well as employee retention has been improving year after year. With all of that, end of 2019, we can conclude that the first phase of the growth strategy was successfully completed. For the past years, 2017 and 2018, we have been following three key strategic pillars that we set ourselves in the early 2017 to get into the longer term growth track. And now, end of 2019, we have 4 games in development and they are advancing well. We have grown as a studio to 250 people. Our outsourcing capabilities have gone further, and overall our functions, the support functions, have taken a big leap forward. We were able to develop and release a high quality game, Control, in 3 years. We have already finalized 1 Crossfire project and are currently working on second. The collaboration with Smilegate works well. We have continued to invest into our own IPs, our technology, and our ways of working. And now in 2019, we have shown the first step of the aimed growth, have done it profitably, and at the same time, despite of all these transformations, we have been able to maintain a really good work atmosphere within Remedy. So we can say that the first phase of the growth strategy has been successfully completed. We set new strategic pillars for ourselves in 2019 that we have been following, especially the second half of 2019, and still continue to follow. So we keep on developing games on top of our strengths of world building, character stories and action gameplay, but systematically aim to do it in a way that we are providing longer lasting games in engaging game worlds. Now, out of the 4 projects, 3 of them are based on our own brands, so that has also meant that we have started to develop our competencies, develop our ways of working to ensure that we are having strong business ownership of our games. We continue to develop our ways of working, our technology, so that we can ensure that also in the future we have professionally managed game development. And of course, people continue to be at the core of Remedy, so we continue making sure that we have talented, motivated people who are empowered and are working in well-functioning teams to create the success we aim for. When we have been growing as a company, our executive team also expanded in 2019. So as new members to our executive team, or as we call internally core management team, we got Mikaela Öberg-Mattila, who joined, our HR director, Johannes Paloheimo, chief commercial officer, and Christopher Smits, our chief operating officer. Okay, and now our chief financial officer, Mrs. Terhi Kauppi, will talk more on the financial results of 2019.
Thank you, Tero. First, let's take a look at second half 2019 figures. And overall, we had a strong second half. We reached high level of revenue of 17.8 million euros with growth of 63%. Our EBIT was 5.1 million euros with growth of 409%. Our EBIT percentage level was 28% from revenue compared to 9% in the second half of 2018. Also, for full year 2019, we reached very good financial results. So the top line in 2019 was 31.6 million with 57% growth. And that's 11.5 million more revenue than in 2018. EBIT was 6.5 million euros with growth of 973%. And EBIT percentage level was 21% compared to 3% in 2018. And in euros, that's 5.9 million more EBIT than in 2018. Our personnel was in average for full year 228 people. And when we calculate the personal growth in average, it's 35%. Our cash position was strong, 19.6 million, but declined within a year by 3.5 million euros. When looking at the longer-term financial development, the revenue has been growing more or less steadily from 2010 onwards. Within 3-year strategy period of 2017 to 2019, Remedy has been able to double its revenue level. EBIT percentage level has followed game launches. 2012 has peaked due to Alan Wake related releases, 2016 peaks due to Quantum Break, and now 2019 peaking due to Control launch. As we aim for more steady stream of annual launch of games, or at least game expansions, the EBIT percentage level should stabilize over the coming years. Also, the capitalization of product development fees and then future depreciations during the game's selling life cycle is balancing the EBIT percentage, as expenses and revenues are more aligned than they have been historically. EBIT analysis. EBIT for 2018 was 600,000 euros and for 2019 it was 6.5 million euros. This bridge analysis shows the main components affecting the EBIT growth. Clearly the highest impact came from a revenue increase due to Control launch and development fees for Control and Crossfire projects. The revenue increase impacted EBIT improvement by 11.5 million euros. A few words about the revenue recognition for Control royalties. Remedy's revenue share for Control is calculated from net revenue, and it is different from cross-revenue based revenue recognition. Before Remedy's 45% revenue share is calculated, a significant bucket of upfront loaded costs are deducted. These costs relate to physical copies, manufacturing and delivery, and include also quality assurance, localization and marketing. These costs affect net revenue calculation, especially in the beginning of the game sales life cycle. During 2019, we capitalized 1.5 million euros of product development expenses related to third unannounced project and to Project Vanguard. There is not yet depreciations related to these capitalizations, as the products have not launched yet. Our outsourcing, according to the strategy, increased by 1.1 million euros. And the aim is to increase flexibility in development process by smartly utilizing selected outsourcing partners. Staff expenses increased by 5.5 million euros due to personnel growth and also a higher personnel bonus accrual due to good financial results. Our staff expenses represent about 65% of the total operative expenses. Depreciations grew by 300,000 euros due to past investments to office space and IT machinery. Other operating expenses are not mentioned here in the bridge because their cost level remained the same from 2018 to 2019. That means that as percentage from revenue, their share has reduced by 9 percentage units, showing operational efficiency. Cash position end of 2018 was 23 million euros and end of 2019 19.6 million euros. This bridge analysis shows the components affecting the 3.5 million euros negative cash flow. The business operations cash flow was negative by 500,000 euros. This was mainly due to agreed timetable of royalties actually being paid to Remedy. Although the revenue recognition is accrual based, payments of the royalties are based on contract terms, which define the actual payments of the royalties to happen within a longer period of time. Cash flow from capitalized product development expenses was 1.5 million euros. Although capitalization affects profitability in a positive way, the cash flow is still impacted negatively. There were also other investments made, mainly to IT equipment, and their impact was 1 million euros negative to cash flow. Together, investment cash flow was 2.5 million euros negative. Financing cash flow was negative by 500,000 euros. This was due to outgoing 1.2 million euros cash flow from dividend payments, and on the other hand by withdrawing 700,000 euros research and development loan. That was all from financials, and now back to Tero for summary and outlook.
Thank you, Terhi. So, to summarize, 2019. As said, the first phase of our growth strategy that we set ourselves in 2017, in 2019, that first phase was successfully completed. An important milestone was that Control launched to a great reception, winning multiple awards. The post-launch sales have settled now on a good level and are continuing on that. And we have 2 paid expansions in development that will be released in 2020. Our single-player campaign for Crossfire is to be released as part of the Crossfire X for Xbox One in 2020, and the third unannounced project and Vanguard are both preparing and proceeding for pre-production phase according to our development plans. When we look at 2020, we expect our revenue and EBIT to grow during 2020. We see that the majority of this revenue and EBIT growth is estimated to materialize during the second half of 2020. And in our business developments, we continue according to our long-term growth plans. Our goal is to have consistent game releases with the aim to launch at least 1 game or game expansion annually. And even though we see that the launch of our next new game brand will go beyond 2020, we expect 2020 to be a financially good year. So that was the summary of the fiscal year 2019 and our outlook for 2020. Thank you everyone for watching this and following us.